A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to extend a warm welcome to all of you to the 37th session, which is really going to be a very fruitful to all of you to become an administrator. Welcome to BA History program, second semester. I'm Sudhaji, Assistant Professor, Department of History, GFGC, Ripanpet. To begin with, let me ask you a question. Can you mention different types of governments? You might have studied in political science. Recall and tell me. Yes, you are right. We have different forms of government such as monarchy, despotic, dictatorship, autocratic, socialist, communist, oligarchy, and democracy. According to you, which is the best form of government and why? Can you give reason? Yes, again you are right. Democracy is the best form of government because here the sovereignty lies in the people. Now you tell me, what type of government did Mughals establish in medieval India? Again you are right. They established absolute monarchical form of government, yet it was a unitary state with federal structure, which means where besides the central government, provincial governments also share sovereignty with the central government and have final jurisdiction over a broad range of policy. With this introduction, let us start in this session. The topic we are going to discuss about central administration of Mughals. In the previous class, students have learnt about the causes and consequences of Deccan policy of Aurangzeb. They also knew the factors responsible for the downfall of Mughal Empire. Learning objectives of today's session: to enable the students to learn about the structure of central administration. They will identify the different ministers who assisted the emperor to carry on the central administration and to learn about the function of various ministers of central administration. Learning outcomes of today's session: students will appreciate the structure of central administration of Mughals. They will recall the different ministers of Mughals government and compare with the present ministers of the Indian government. Let us start with the introduction. Mughals brought about certain fundamental changes in the administrative structure of India. The rule was a central system based on military power, which was based on control and balance. Their administration was a mixture of Indian and non-Indian element. As in democracy, Prime Minister is the chief executive of the government. In the Mughal Empire, the emperor had absolute authority. Emperor was the head of the administration, dispenser of justice, commander-in-chief, fountain of all powers and honors, benevolent despot, still assisted by council of ministers. Before moving to the next subheadings, let me tell a few more information about Akbar as an administrator, which is really rarest of the rare facts. I am sure you will be astonished to know about Akbar as an administrator. Listen to me carefully. Are you following me? Okay, that's good. Akbar was a monarch. In fact, he was a despot, yet he was an enlightened and benevolent one, head of the state. In spite of concentration of such wide powers, he was trying to ascertain the wishes of the people and used to attend 3 times for state business in a day. He used to listen to the grievances of his subjects during the Jeroka Darshan. People were allowed to present petitions and to represent their cases in person. Akbar used to decide their cases on the spot. He reviewed the troops of Mansabdas. He also attended the daily business in Diwani Arm, and during the night he met his ministers and advisors in the private audience hall, Diwani Khas, discussed about foreign relations and internal administration. Late in the night, he held a consultation with his ministers on confidential matters of war and foreign policy and administration at Daulat Khana. Akbar devoted about 16 hours of a day to the business of the state. He believed that the king must be absolutely tolerant to every creed and must establish the universal peace in his dominion. Is it not interesting? Are you following me? Okay, let's move to the structure of the general central government. The Mughal administration presented on a combination of foreign come Indian system of administration. It was the Perso-Arabic system of Indian setting. There was a rule of aristocracy where the nobles exercised influence on the administration. Their administration was not entirely based on Islamic tenets. They never allowed ulemas to interfere in the administration, just like that of a secular state like India, where government will not interfere in the religious affairs of the people of the country. Complete religious freedom has been granted to the people. Similarly, religion can't interfere in the politics. They never allowed ulemas to interfere in the administration. Their administration was a military based government. Now let us know about the ministers of Mughals central government. At present we have various categories of ministers in the central government of India, like cabinet ministers, ministers of state, deputy ministers. Similarly, in the central government of Mughals, they too had 4 important ministers such as Vakil, the Prime Minister, Diwan, the Finance Minister, Mir Bakshi, he was Paymaster General. Similarly, Chief Sadar, he was the Chief Justice. Can you name who is the present Prime Minister of India? Yes, Narendra Modi. And can you name the Finance Minister of Indian government at present? Absolutely right. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. Similarly, who is the Chief Justice of India? That too 48 Chief Justice. Can I give you a clue? 48 Chief Justice of India. Yes, you are right. Justice N.V. Ramana. Try to compare the central government of Mughals with that of our present central government, and also the different ministers, their powers and functions. Compare and contrast. It is always good to do a comparative study. Let us now know about Wazir, who was the Prime Minister, also called Vakil. He looked after the administration in the absence of the emperor. He commanded the army on occasions. He supervised the other departments too, collected the reports of the provinces, dispatched orders of the emperors to the governors. Who is the supreme commander of the three wings of Indian Defence Force? Yes, is the President of India. Is a nominal commander, but he won't participate in war. But during Mughals period, it was not like that. Wazir himself used to participate in the war too. That is why he commanded the army on occasions. Let's now know about Mir Bakshi, who was a defense minister. He managed appointment of soldiers. He maintained a hulia, that is a master of the soldiers, looked after the branding of horses and elephants. The branding of horses was called dhag. Looked after supplies to the army and their training. The chief Qazi assisted the emperor in the judicial administration. He used to declare the judgment. The muftis interpreted Islamic laws. Now, Sadr was Sadr, religious advisor. He looked after charity, religious education, distribution of jagis to scholars, observance of the Islamic laws by the Muslims. Next, we have Miri Atish, who was in charge of artillery. It was an important office and was mostly assigned to a Turk or a Persian, not to any Indians. Next, we have one more minister of central government of Mughals, namely Muhatashi. He looked after the moral development of the people, checked thinking of the drinking of liquor, gambling, illegal relations between men and women, kept control over weights and measures also, observed that articles were sold in the market at proper prices. He was assisted by provincial Muhatashibs. Next we have Kani Saman. He looked after the personal needs of the emperor and his family and also that of the palace. He managed the karkhanas of the emperor, which produced different articles and provided good income to the emperor. Daroga-e-Dak Chowki. He was the head of the spy department of the state. He collected news from various Waqiya-e-Navis and Kufiya-Navises of the province, kept the emperor informed about affairs within the empire. Let us summarize. After learning the type of Mughals government, the different ministers who assisted the king to conduct administration of the Mughal empire, we can summarize that the Mughal emperors had two duties. First one, the protection of the state, and the second, extension of the empire. The credit goes to raise the structure of Mughal administration firmly to the Akbar the Great. It persisted till the reign of Aurangzeb. Their center administration became the foundation for provincial administration. Before winding the session, let us have a quick recapitulation. Structure of the central administration, the ministers who assisted to run the central administration, powers and functions of different ministers. You can, as a part of assignment, write a note on the administrative structure of Mughals in the medieval India. The books which I referred to prepare my talk are Medieval History of India by J.C. Agarwal, History of Medieval India by L.P. Sharma, and Advanced Study in the History of Medieval India by J.L. Mehta. Hope this session might have been very informative to you. Thank you, one and all.